Going to introduce Mr. Andrew Viviega, who's going to talk to you about reading and writing. How do we address that in the book? Thank you.
Hello again, everybody. How are you?
Fine.
I'm not hungry?
No.
You're not hungry?
No.
I am sorry. I am sorry, but let's continue with this. So, Evangelista was talking about listening and speaking, that those are very important skills for our young learners to improve in their communication. When they communicate, they need to have very good listening and speaking skills. And now we're gonna start talking about reading and writing. And there is a question, there are a few questions that I asked about that. Because maybe we as teachers do things and maybe we do not have clear concepts or ideas of what we do. That question number one, that says, how do you define reading skills in your own words? So, how would you define reading skills in your own words? I would like to hear a few of you say what you think. You teach reading skills. So, as teachers, we have an idea of what it is. Who can say something about it? All right, sir. Tell me what you understand about it.
I understand it, reading, it's decode of the symbols, those symbols are the letters, and but in a way that not only you, the reader, can understand it, but in order for you to communicate with others when reading. So there is a component or sub skill which is understanding when you're reading. It's just not reading. I have a son of mine. My son is learning how to read in English. So sometimes I ask him at the end of when he's done reading, what did you learn? Or what can you tell me about what you just read? And he said, I have no idea. Meaning that he's just decoding the letters, but he's not actually engaged in the reading process.
Yeah.
Yet.
He's doing it, but he still hasn't developed the skill.
Exactly.
So I'm not very good at Spanish, but I'm learning. And some of the things that they're saying ring true when I'm learning the language. And comprehension is very important, not just being able to read it, but to understand what the words mean.
Exactly. Another one wants to say something about it. So, the question is about reading skills. There is a difference between reading and reading skill. And he made a good point about it. You can read something, so you can do the process of reading. You can do, because when you read, what you do is that you look at words and letters, and then that comes to your brain, and your brain makes a process of converting that into words that we use. But reading skills, when you talk about reading skills, we talk about abilities. So a reading skill is an ability that a person has to interact with a text and take in words, what he said or what they say. When you read, you interact with something written, and then you understand what you are reading. So when you have the ability to read, when you have the reading skill developed, you read and you understand what you read. Okay? So that is the difference between reading and reading skill. Like the reading skill, you understand what you are reading. Can you mention a few reading skills? Who can mention a few reading skills? participation.
Anyone else?
Okay, I can say.
I can say decoding, vocabulary, fluency, comprehension, skimming and scanning, critical thinking.
Alright, good. Those are reading skills. He said many reading skills. I just wanted a few, but yes, those are reading skills that we need to help our students develop. Decoding. He said decoding is a reading skill. What is decoding? Well, decoding is the translation of the written symbols into spoken words. And that's what we do with books. When you start, let me tell you that when you start teaching from the beginning, you start teaching reading. Because one of the reading skills is also vocabulary. But it's not also vocabulary per se. It's vocabulary and understanding the vocabulary. Reading skills have to do with understanding what you're reading. And that's why we are here, because we need to prepare to help our students improve their reading skills. And here we have, okay, we're still in reading skills. You said decoding, fluency. You know, fluency is not only for speaking. Readers are also fluent. So if you are a reader, you can check fluency in your students, how they read. Because reading can be silent or loud. There is a moment in which you have your students read silently for critical thinking, comprehension, things like those. But there are other moments in which you want your students to read to see their fluency, to see how they read. Because when students are reading, the four skills work together. If you don't know how to pronounce a word, you will not remember the word. And it'll be very difficult for you to learn the word. But when you know how to pronounce it, and you know the meaning of the word, then you remember it. So, fluency has to do with quick reading without hesitating. When you read quickly, accurately, so when you are reading accurately, pronouncing correctly, without making any stop to see, this word, I don't understand this word, then you stop. And we have to work with those things with our students. And how can you do that? Have them read as much as possible. Do reading activities with your students. Silent reading and also loud readings. And it says here, how do you help young learners improve their reading skills? So these books, the books that we're presenting today are from ages 9 to 12. That is 4th grade of elementary school, 5th grade, and 6th grade. So how can we help our young learners? Our young learners improve their reading skills. How can we help them?
Recording their voices, their conversation.
Yeah, that is an activity okay, good. Recording their voices and what about you? He was my student at the Dominican Americano in 2012.
Yes, can I have the microphone?
Of course, sir.
Yes. I was about to say that Mr. Vivieca was my first English teacher when I was studying English at the Dominican Americano. And I have two strategies. The first one is, I remember when I was a kid, my father taught me how to read stories. He said, when you read stories, while you read, you have to imagine in your mind all the details that you're reading. For example, it is like if you are watching a movie. The difference is that you make the movie in your mind according the things you're reading. And the other one is I asked a friend of mine, what can I do to improve my reading skills? And he said to me, buy a book about something you really love.
Very good. You see, another one wants to say an answer? Okay, a lady, two ladies. Let's see what they have to say to us.
You must to catch their attention. So if he loves, I agree with the guy, because if they love what they are reading, so they will learn.
Yes, you can use some questions. You can ask the students about the title, the subtitles about the test. For example, what do you think about this test? The title or the subtitles and something like that. What is your opinion? What is this test talking about? So it's a good question to use in the classroom.
Exactly. To help our learners improve their reading skills, we use strategies. Strategies is the key for us to help our students to improve their reading skills. Because one thing is reading skill, and another is reading strategy. Okay? So we need to be clear about that. So, because why is a strategy? How do you describe or define the word strategy? What are strategies? Who can say something about it? If you don't want, I say. Strategies are teaching methods that teachers can use to help learners improve their language and reading skills. So we need to use, as she said, everybody said, he said, my student said, well, who was my student now, he's a teacher too, that he tries to imagine that is a strategy, visualizing, that is a strategy. When kids are reading, that you encourage them to imagine scenes of what's happening, of what they're reading. And what she said, what they said also, that you ask questions about the title, that is another strategy. Okay, you are, in that strategy, you are activating what we call prior knowledge. But we want to talk about strategies now next. Okay.
Thank you. My name is Mary. For me, it's a pleasure to be here and listen to you. So I would like to say something about when you was talking about speaking and speak fast and when you have fluency. So it's not the same. When you speak fast, you don't pronounce correctly. So, but when you have fluency, you pronounce perfect. And even it helped the reader to understand what she says. So it made me remember that because I'm taking, I'm in a master's degree at Western University, and I was taking a subject about that, later with that. And talking about strategy, a strategy helps the student to understand fast and without any problems. Even I think that it helps the teacher, because when your student learns without any problem fast, you feel better, and you know that you are doing a good job, that you are using the correct way, that you are in the correct way, and even I think that each teacher has to recognize what kind of learner we have in a class. That's why we use different activities related with speaking, writing, with the first principal type of learner. So, and something that I want to be focused to about the writing you was talking, how can I help my students to learn? It's very easy. Practicing. We need to practice, and we as teachers we have to recommend our students to read something that they really like, that they really love. Because when they read something they don't like, they feel like they're boring. But when they like what they are reading, they want to know more. Even when they don't know words, they look for what does conversation journey that we have here, but I have there a lot, and it made me to recognize many things that are very important for us to know as a teacher. Thank you. Yes.
Good, thank you. Thanks very much. So, okay, another participant. Well, this is for you. It's not one, but.
Hello, everybody. This is Jemina. And I have a comment and I also have a question. So I will go over the comment first. So some of the strategies I actually use for helping the students improve their reading skills is always asking them like, so what do you understand by the title? What can you observe in the pictures? What do you think the test is about? After reading at first, and then after I go, so do you think what you said before is related to what you already read? And they can answer those questions. Also, I prepare like questions per paragraph to go deeper in each paragraph to see if they're really comprehending and they're using the critical thinking in the stuff. So those are some strategies I use in the classroom, like to reading also in couples, in groups, depending on how long the reading is. But I also have a question. You know, we live in a third world country, so where our problems basically are in reading and writing. And you know, the problem is not in English only. So the problem comes from Spanish. They don't read, they don't write. Their critical thinking is weak, so in Spanish, so that's in English. So how can you help us to face this situation?
Me. He's gonna respond to the question. He's answering his hands.
Yeah, I got an answer for that. Actually, it's related to my comment. It's you know that we usually focus on our teaching strategies, and we forget that we have to provide our learners with learning strategies. Those learning strategies will help them boost or increase or enhance their reading skills. You just mentioned that you have before reading, during reading, and after reading strategies or activities in order for you to have an input or a feedback from your students. In the same fashion, you can teach your learners tools, you can provide them tools so they can enhance their reading skills.
Did you hear that? Apart from teaching, apart from using strategies to teach, then you have to teach them learning styles and provide them with the tools. Because it's not only the teacher. We do our job, and sometimes you work very hard for your students to learn, and you do a lot of things. I don't know if you work in a public school, but I do work in a public school, and you see that I can speak English. I'm an English teacher. They are using me as an English teacher, and I've been teaching English for many years. I was a teacher at Dominico for 19 years. Here there are two people that were there, him, and now I see her also. She was my student. Pues. I was a teacher at the Dominico Americano, so, but at the Dominico Americano as a teacher, my students learn. There's another person here, she was my student at the Dominico Americano. See? And then, exactly, it depends on the context. In the public sector, we are alone. Because how do you think students are going to learn? How can they do homework? Because teachers are teaching homework from the internet. You give a topic, but you don't have how to print, but they don't have internet. Then how can we solve that problem? We do our part, but we need the help of the government too. And we need the help of the parents. It depends on the context, what someone said. Sometimes you are working at school, you are doing your job, but students don't have parents. Students don't have support from the government, don't have books, don't have a platform. This book has a platform, and that the manager said that you can use the book at home, you can download the book on the app, and you can keep working. And you do all the activities, and that way we can develop those skills that we need our students to learn. Because the question is, why a student, when goes to the Dominico Americano, to another institution, they learn English. But when the same teachers go to those public schools to teach, and and the students don't learn English. Where is the problem? The system.
Purpose. When
The
you
minister
pay another medical or another institute, you pay and you have an interest for learning in that thing. So you want to save your money. In public school, students are not interested in class.
You buy book. You want somebody. Because of the
Don't
money.
have book, they don't have anybody who help them. It's very different. It's very different.
So the context. The context.
So if because you have a program, you have material resources, but we don't have anything.
Money. Because they pay money.
Yes, also we need to make it normal. I think that's something extremely important. When we talk about teaching in a private institute, they are normally used to hear someone talking in English, someone that is a family member that doesn't live here, and they are normally used to hear someone talking like that. But if we're talking about a public school, they don't see that. They find it weird, and then that's the moment when they are ashamed to talk or to say anything in English. So we need to make that normal for them as well as we do it for private students.
When we are talking about the reading strategy, so we need to include the age of the student. Also, we need to add the label there, so that it helps us to add the material to those students. Also, when you were talking about why when students go to the Dominican Americano, so you need to see that. At the public school, we have 45 students in a class, so we don't have a fan, we don't have, also we have to do all our material with our resources, as part of the inconvenience. Also, for example, the engagement of the students when they go to a new student is different when they are in a public school. So we can see, for example, when we have a student that they go to the English conversion program. So here we have Winston Castillo, who was my teacher. And the students are engaged to learn English. So, and they are the same students at the public school. That's what we need to focus. That the engagement of the students is different when they go to an institute or so on. So that's what we need to focus when we are working with the staff.
No commitment in students in public schools.
For me, it depends to the different elements. Knowledge, intention. The system is the 10, but depends to the skill of the training. This is the 10.
Right. Okay, my name is Alejandro Rosario. I think that we have a big problem here in Dominican Republic. The problem that I know that we have is a politics in the education. All or everybody that is in education think it's only to talk about what is the problem and to say that the teachers have the problem in the education. And the teachers have no the way to work in the school. So my partner was talking that we have 50, 48, 60 in some cases the student in a room, and you have no strategy. You only have the strategy to work, and you have no possibility to work with the students. And the politics only say that the teacher don't teach for nothing. That is the problem. Thank you very much.
Right? Thank you very much. So we're getting it. We're getting it. That is important. So don't feel bad when you see that your students are not getting it the way you want. So you're doing your part, but then we need also support. But we're gonna do our best. So we're gonna move to the next, that is useful strategies.
The family.
Yes, I would like to say I know how difficult it is to work in public schools, because I work in one as well, as most of you do. And I know sometimes it's hard to keep the students engaged with the activities, to get engaged, even with the language, because they have the best excuse. I don't know how to speak Spanish, I don't know how to speak English. But to feel the satisfaction that at the end of the journey, it works, to create something out of nothing, so it makes you feel like, although you have nothing, you have the knowledge to make those students to create the interest in learning a language they didn't like at first. So I feel like this is great. I don't know if being a teacher is art or science, but it works. And then, so that's us. And I feel the satisfaction and I feel happy. How students at the end, they say, hey teacher, I didn't learn, but I got the interest. So where can I learn English?
But I graduated.
Okay, so as we were saying, here we have this book. You know, let me tell you, that is unit 2 of book 6 for 6th grade. And you can see there, that is our second page. You have, that is the beginning of the unit. From the beginning of the book, of the unit, from the very beginning, we start teaching reading, we start teaching speaking, and we start teaching writing. Because when you teach students vocabulary and chunks of language, because there you can see sentences, the teacher hasn't explained the structure yet, but you can see that there are complete sentences there that students can use to do that exercise, to do that activity, or those activities. What do you do in your free time? So this is a good question. That is a good topic. And the topic of the reading of that book is about that. It's about free time activities. I can say that. I play sports, I listen to music, so there are different activities there. And also at the end, when they just check, they grasp that knowledge naturally. They get it naturally without explanation. They just learn how to say that. I play sports, I watch TV, I play video games, so they do it. They learn how to say that. Then they have the opportunity to, okay, to the next. Okay, that question. It says here, what your parent does in his or free time. Then they have the opportunity to make sentences in the third person, but that is not the grammar section yet. Students are exposed to the language in a natural way. So when you come to the grammar section, they have array inputs. They have array something established, set up in the brains. When you explain the grammar, the steps, the pattern, the structures, they get it right away. And that is the way that book is designed, to make the life of teachers easier. Can you move on? Yeah, the more vocabulary. You see there structures, patterns for them to form sentences like, for example, play a sport, go plus ing, dancing or swimming. So they have the pattern there. They just memorize the pattern, and then that reduces the mistakes when they speak, and that boosts their fluency in speaking, in reading, and in writing. So you see there, that is the grammar section, the structure of the grammar section, WH questions. WH questions there, hours of frequency, and all that stuff. Helping the students to do these activities general. Okay? I think I don't have more time. So that is the book, basically. That is the book of Actualidad. Something good about this book is that students can do their activities. And teachers, as teachers, you said that there are 45 students in one class. Imagine that you have to check the exercises of 45 students. And you have 36 hours in a week, and you have to do planning.
I'm sorry again, I'm going to have to interrupt these, but if you want to do this meeting now, because all the presenters, Professor Valdez, are there waiting for you to go.
Oh, I'm so important. Okay. Nice talking to you. It was a real honor to have you here. And